Welcome to another Song Surgeon Weekly video tip. Hello everyone, this is Jim Todd with Song Surgeon, and today we're going to discuss and review what causes that nasty crackling that can occur when you copy and paste audio data to edit or create a customized file. We could summarize this lesson or this tip by saying silence is golden, but let me go ahead and explain and demonstrate. On my screen here, you can see that I have a song that I've labeled Intro, verse 1, 2, 3, and 4. And let's say that we want to take verse 1, which stretches from here to here, and copy that and then paste it at the end of verse 1. So we essentially insert an additional verse here. So instead of having an intro in 4 verses, we'll have an intro in 5 verses. So the first thing we want to do here is to zoom in and take a look at where this verse starts and where this verse ends. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to zoom into about 5 seconds. There you can see my verse label or verse marker. And if you take a look closely here, you can see although the volume tapers down, there's still some oscillation around this 0 line, and that means regardless of how small it is, there still is some volume. And when I started this lesson by saying you could summarize by saying that silence is golden, this is what I mean. In order to get a splice made where there is going to be no crackling or no distortion or nothing in the way of artifacts that you can hear, you need to make certain that you cut and that you paste. So both splices are done where there is essentially no volume. And how do you accomplish that? Well, probably the best way, the easiest way, is to simply select a small portion of this audio as it fades down to almost 0 and go up to the edit button and then do fade out. What that does then is it indeed fades down to 0, so there is no volume here whatsoever. And then in a similar way, we zoom out, go over here to verse 2, zoom back in, and look at what we have at verse 2 where we're going to be pasting this data back in. Again, we need to go to the end of this verse and do a fade out. So we again have essentially no volume data showing here. Fade out, and there we go. So we have a small part of it in which there's no volume data. And then what we need to do is we need to copy this. So essentially we need to go ahead and grab the data starting in an area where there is no volume, which you can see right here. We could even zoom in a little more if you'd like to. We can go down to 1 second, and you can see down at the 1 second level that there's no volume for about 1/10 of a second here. So we want to start our splice or start our cut right here, and then we want to drag, and I've started it. I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out, and I'm going to continue dragging this over to the beginning of verse 1, and then I'm going to zoom back in here on zoom 1 to make certain we have this placement correct. And as you can see, I don't have it correct. I've dragged it too far because right here you can see there's a little bit of volume. So we want to slide this back here. So we are cutting in both ends, the beginning and the ending, where there is no volume. So I'm going to go ahead and copy, Control C, which is a keyboard shortcut. And then I'm going to zoom back out briefly. Going to go to the end of this verse where we're going to paste it back in. I'm going to zoom back in so I can see what's going on. And I'm going to zoom in even a little further. So here's where I'm cutting. And then I'm going to paste wherever this white progress indicator is. And I want to make certain again that when we do that, we are pasting in where there is no volume. And in fact, I like to paste it exactly at the point that we're going to cut it, which I can essentially do. So I'm going to place it there. I'm going to go ahead and do edit, paste, and it's going to ask me where and how I want to paste this. Do I want to paste it at the beginning, the current position, or the end? And the channel questions up above we can ignore because they're grayed out, and they're grayed out, of course, because we're not dealing with a asynchronous situation where we're going from mono to stereo or stereo to mono. If we were doing that, then these would be highlighted and we would have to deal or address these. But we're going to paste at the current position. We're going to click OK, and we've now inserted that. Let's zoom back out and take a look. And you can see indeed that where we had 4 verses before, we now have 5. But the important thing is we pasted right here. Let's zoom in and take a look. And the question is, if we cut and pasted right here where there's no volume, we shouldn't hear any type of static or any type of crackling when we play this back. So let's go ahead and listen. I didn't hear anything. Let's go back one more time. Sounded pretty clean to me. Let's zoom back out. Let's go to the end of this because again there's a splice at the end, and let's make certain that it also plays correctly. So here we are. We're going to go through this end splice and into the next verse, and let's see whether or not we hear anything or whether it's clean. And it also sounds fine. So that's really the secret. The secret is just simply cutting and pasting and making certain that when you do that at both ends, at both splices, there is silence. And if you do that, you shouldn't have any problem with that annoying crackling sound that you might hear if you didn't do it that way. So with that, we'll conclude this weekly video tip for Song Surgeon. Thanks for watching.